For this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this front tie blouse using rib stitch. If you are a size small, feel free to follow the number of stitches I made. And if you want to adjust, kindly read the instructions carefully so you can change the size of the top. So for the front part, I made 11 rows without decrease, 4 rows with 1 decrease, and 15 rows with 2 decrease. I will explain it later. So first, we will start with the length of your top. Make a slip knot, and then chain 90. So this is equivalent with 15 inches. After that, if you are satisfied with the length of your top, chain 3. Make a half double crochet on the third chain from the hook. And then continue on making half double crochet on the remaining stitches. So now we have our first row, chain 2, turn your work, make a half double crochet on the very first back loop. After that, continue on making half double crochet until you reach the very last back loop. So now we have 2 rows and you're going to make 9 more rows. Again, chain 2 and then make a half double crochet on the first back loop. So now we have 11 rows. This is equivalent into 2.5 inches. And then we will proceed on making decrease. Chain 2. Turn your work. We're going to make 1 decrease. First, get the 2 back loop. 1 and 2. And then make a half double crochet using the 2 back loop. And then continue on making half double crochet on the remaining back loops. So I also put some stitch marker on the first decrease row, and then we're going to make another row, chain 2, turn your work, and then make a half double crochet on the very first back loop. After that, continue on making half double crochet until there's 3 stitches left. So when you reach that part, make 1 decrease or 2 half double crochet together. On the very last stitch, make 1 half double crochet. So that's how you make 1 decrease. Again, chain 2, make 1 decrease or 2 half double crochet together. And then continue on making half double crochet on the remaining stitches. So now we have 3 rows with 1 decrease, and you're going to make another one, so it will be 4 rows. After the 4 rows with 1 decrease, we will proceed with the 15 rows with 2 decrease in each row. Chain 2, and then get the first 3 back loops, and then make a half double crochet using the 3 back loops. After the decrease, continue on making half double crochet on every back loop. To make another row, chain 2, turn your work, make a half double crochet on the very first back loop, and then continue on making back loop until there's 4 stitches left. On the last 3 back loops, make 2 decrease or 3 half double crochet together. On the last stitch, make 1 half double crochet. So that's the difference between the 1 decrease and 2 decrease. For the 2 decrease, you're going to make 3 half double crochet together. So there should be a total of 15 rows with 2 decrease. This is equivalent with the width of 4 inches. So now we have a total of 7 inches width for the front part. We're going to make 1 extra row. In this row, there will be no increase or decrease. Just simply make a half double crochet on every stitch. So now you finish the first front part, and you're going to make another one. And when you reach the bottom part or the end of the row, chain 2, turn your work. For this row, you're not going to make any increase or decrease. Just continue on making half double crochet until you reach the very last stitch. So after that row, again we're going to make a decrease. Chain 2, turn your work, make 2 half double crochet together. And then continue on making half double crochet on every stitch. So basically, you will repeat the row with decrease and the row without decrease until you have the exact number. So since we have a total of 29 rows for the front part, you will repeat the same number of rows for the back part. So here's the half of the back part. Again, remember that the extra row is not counted. You're just going to make 29 rows. So after that, we're going to make the half of the back part. You will replicate the same rows for the other half. Also, don't forget to place a stitch marker. Chain 2, turn your work. Continue on making half double crochet on every stitch. So after that, chain 2, turn your work, continue on making half double crochet until there's 2 stitches left. On the second to the last stitch, you're going to make an increase or 2 half double crochet on one stitch. Instead of decrease, you're going to make an increase and then make 1 half double crochet on the very last stitch. Chain 2. Again, in this row, we're not going to make any increase. Basically, you're just going to repeat the same rows that you did on the other side. The only difference is you're going to make an increase instead of decrease. After you finish the increase rows, you will proceed with the rows without any increase or decrease. So it will look like this, a total of 59 rows. After that, we're going to make a single crochet on the top of the back part. So first, tie the yarn on the top of the back part. Chain 1. We're going to make 2 single crochet on each row of half double crochet. 1 single crochet. And then 2 single crochet. And you will repeat that until you reach the last row of half double crochet. After that, make a slip knot and then cut the yarn. You will repeat the same procedure for the front part. Attach the yarn and then continue on making single crochet on each row of half double crochet. First, tie the yarn. Chain 1 and then continue on making 2 single crochet on each row of half double crochet. And then make a slip knot, cut the yarn. You will do the same procedure for the other front part. So after that, we're going to connect the front part and the back part. Remember the 11 rows that we made without any increase or decrease. That is the part where we're going to connect the front part and the back part. So first, insert the yarn. Tie the yarn. Turn your work. And then we're going to make a slip stitch on every single crochet. Make sure that you do it carefully so it will be connected to one another. After you reach the very last row, you will continue on making slip stitch on the back part. And then when you reach the 11th row, again you will continue to connect the front part and the back part. So now that we reached the other side, we will attach the back part and the front part. Make a slip stitch and then continue on making slip stitch on the remaining stitches. So after that, make a slip knot and then cut the yarn. So now that the back part and the front part are attached on one another, we will proceed with the sleeves. So the length of the sleeve will depend on you. I decided mine to be 6 inches and a half. And then place a stitch marker where you want it to end. So we will connect the side part until you reach the space for the sleeve. First, insert the yarn and then make a knot. Turn your work. And then single crochet across the stitches. You have to make sure that every stitch should be aligned on one another. Continue until you reach the stitch marker. The number of stitches that is left for the sleeve is 37 stitches. To start with the sleeve, chain 12. Add 3 more chains. Make a half double crochet on the third chain from the hook. After that, you will continue on making half double crochet on the remaining stitches. So after you finish the first row, remember these next 2 stitches. So slip stitch on the next stitch and then slip stitch again on the next stitch. So after that, turn your work. We're going to make a half double crochet using the back loop. On the second to the last stitch, we're going to make an increase or 2 half double crochet on one stitch. And on the very last stitch, make 1 half double crochet using the front and back loop. Remember that on every last stitch, you're going to use the front and back loop. Chain 2. Turn your work. Make a half double crochet on the very first stitch. On this row, we're not going to make any increase or decrease. After that, you're going to repeat the same procedure. Make a slip stitch on the next 2 stitches. And then turn your work. On the next row, we're going to make an increase. Make 2 half double crochet on the second to the last stitch. For the last stitch, make half double crochet using the front and back loop. So that will be the pattern for the sleeves. You will repeat the increase and non-increase row alternately until you reach the top. So when you reach the top part, make a slip stitch on the part where the front and back part is connected. So for this row, we're not going to make any increase. After that, we're going to proceed with the half of the sleeve. First, you will repeat this row without any increase. Again, on the end of the row, you're going to place a slip stitch on the next 2 stitches. And then continue on making half double crochet until there's 3 stitches left. On the remaining 2 stitches, first get the 2 back loop and then make 1 half double crochet. And then on the last stitch, make 1 half double crochet. So that's how we make the decrease row. So after this decrease row, you're going to make another row without any decrease. And you'll repeat that alternately until you reach the end or the starting point. So now that I finished the sleeve, next we're going to connect it. Insert your hook on the very first stitch. And then turn your work. So we will connect it using a slip stitch. After that, chain 1 and then turn your work. Continue on making slip stitch until you reach that part. Chain 1 and then continue on making slip stitch on the outer part of the sleeve. And you will repeat that all around. So when you reach the starting point, make a slip stitch and then chain 2. Make 3 half double crochet on the very first stitch. After that, make 2 half double crochet on the next stitch. And you will repeat that pattern. Make 3 half double crochet on the next stitch and then 2 half double crochet on the next stitch, and you will repeat that all around. When you reach the starting point, make a slip stitch and then slip stitch again to secure the sleeve. Slip knot and then cut the yarn. So now we finished our first sleeve and you will repeat the same procedure for the other sleeve. First, you will connect the sides and then chain 12 and you will proceed with the pattern of the sleeve. So now that we are finished with the sleeves, we will continue with the tie part. First, we will attach the yarn on this part. And then proceed with the tie or 100 chain. Tie the yarn. Make a single crochet until you reach the second to the last stitch. After that, chain 100. After the 100 chains, add 3 more chain. And then make a half double crochet on the third chain from the hook. Continue on making half double crochet on every stitch. After you finish the 100 chains, make a slip stitch on the next stitch. And then continue on making single crochet on the remaining stitches. You will proceed on making single crochet until you reach the back part. So when you reach the back part, you will proceed on making single crochet until you reach the other front part. After that, you will repeat the same procedure for the tie. Chain 100 and then add 3 more chains, half double crochet on the third chain from the hook, and then slip stitch on the next stitch. After that, you will proceed on making single crochet on the remaining stitches of the front part, and then make a slip knot, cut the yarn. Thank you for watching. If you have any question, don't forget to DM me or comment down below.